1 year and a day ago, Lemmy passed away, Lemmy from Motorhead. And just one of the bestest people I've ever met. I'm a lucky bastard. I'm really lucky. I was buddies with Lemmy for damn near 30 years. I met him in the 80s. And Lemmy loved the fact that I'm over serious, and he always found ways to make fun of me. And whenever you see Lemmy, he's always like scowling, but he's wickedly funny and very, very intelligent. And he was always on me. Henry, you look a little shorter than last time. You look a little tired. No, I don't. Oh, no, you look like you're about to fall asleep. And he knew he could get me. Every single time I knew I'd see him, I'd bring a record of his for him to autograph. And he always autographed it with a slight insult. I gave him my Ace of Space 12-inch, which Ian bought me for my 19th birthday. And I said, Lemmy, sign this for me. He signs it. Probably too loud for you, Henry. Lemmy. And Lemmy used to live in this microscopic apartment. It's like the first apartment you had when you left home when you were like, what, 11 or something. Where living room, dining room, bedroom, the door. And it's so small. And his apartment had 30 years of adult accumulation. Books, DVDs, videos, and 350 million pieces of World War II memorabilia. And so there were these paths of ruined carpet that were like anacondas going through the apartment. And every time you'd walk in, he'd say, stay on the path. And you'd have to stay on the path. And you kind of wend your way through his apartment. And one day, we're on the path, and we're looking at his living room, which is the size of a pool table. And it's up to here with stuff. And he said, an interesting thing happened in my living room the other day. And I said, like, what was it? He said, a suitcase I put down 5 years ago disappeared, and it came back 2 days ago. I said, what do you mean? I came back from tour, and I put my suitcase down, and it got lost in the living room, and it reappeared 2 days ago. And I opened it up. It's amazing. It's like a time capsule. Old clothes, old tour laminates. I said, Lemmy, you don't come home from tour and immediately just do your laundry? No? Do you? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, why? I said, because it smells of tobacco and alcohol and misery. Like, you're really weird, you know that? Give me $1. Anyway, he sweeps his hand across his living room and he says, my living room is like... And he couldn't finish the sentence. And so I sought to finish it for him. I said, it's like the sea. And I thought that was deep and poetic. And I had nothing to back it up. I just liked the way it sounded. And so I was only like, wow, that's really deep. But no, he went, what do you mean? I went, oh no. I said, it's like the sea because it's mysterious. And it takes away. But it's generous. And it gives back. He didn't buy it. Yeah, all right. What's your place like? Immaculate, everything in alphabetical order. Thought so. Boom! He always had the burn. And I hung out with him all over the world at festivals and wherever else, and he was always very, very friendly to me. And sometimes he could be so sincere and so friendly, you didn't know what to do with it, because he was so real at times, it just kind of caught me out. One day, I'm at his apartment, and he had all kinds of knives and daggers and swords, all kinds of crazy stuff. And he comes up to me with this crazy sword in a metal sheath, and the blade is curved. And he goes, this is over 100 years old. It's from Morocco. I went, wow, that's intense. He pulls the sword out. I'm like, what have I ever done to you? Because the sword looks like I cut people up with this thing. And so he said, I want you to have this. I was like, oh, why? And he looked at me and said, I like you. You're my friend, and I want you to have this sword. I damn near wept. I mean, who talks like that, Lemmy? And I have the sword to this day. It was many years ago, and it's, you know, I don't pull it out and show people, but I know where it is, because Lemmy gave it to me. And one time, many years ago in Germany, we were hanging out, we were both at the same festival, and Lemmy said the single most mind-blowing thing about rock and roll that I've ever heard from the mouth of anyone I've seen in a documentary or met in real life. He looked at me and said, I remember before there was rock and roll. I said, what? Wow. Like, who says that? Like, I know there's a time before rock and roll. I know it doesn't matter. But what do you mean? like, you remember before there was rock and roll. I mean, this sounds so interesting. He said, I remember before there was rock and roll, when you only had your mother's Rosemary Clooney records. I said, so what happened? He said, we all heard Elvis, and we never looked back. And it hit me like a Mack truck upside my head. The purity of that statement, that he got into rock and roll on the ground floor via Elvis Presley, which is not the worst way to walk into that genre of music. I said, that's really profound. He said, I started going to shows. I started to go see the Beatles play the Cavern Club. I said, you saw the Beatles play the Cavern Club? Yeah, they were really good. Oh, you think? He got like, what, 72 years out of that carcass. And some people mourned his death. I miss the guy because he was a real sweetheart. But he had a lot of fun, and he lived without restraint. And he was a lot of things. Stupid is not one of them. And I think he knew the fun he was having was not necessarily going to lead to a long life. And if we were to take all the lines of speed and cocaine he ever did and put them end on end, how many laps around the earth? Who knows? How many 100,000 gallons of hard alcohol? How much lager? How many cubic tons of marijuana, hashish, and tobacco went down that neck? He had a lot of fun. And the best part of hanging out with Lemmy was walking on the street with him, because everyone in the world recognized him. Even old people, Lemmy! People just love that guy. Because anytime if you ever saw him on stage, the cowboy hat and the boots and all of that, that wasn't a stage get-up. Those were the only kind of clothes he has. He did not own sweatpants, nor did he own sandals. He was in boots and the hat all the time. And even cops that drive by, woo! Like, you're the man, like right through the walkie-talkie. I mean, people love this guy. And that's why he had to have his funeral on the internet so people all over the world could watch and just say, hey man, I'm with you. And he's buried in Forest Lawn, so if he's angled just right, he can look at the Warner Brothers parking lot. Anyway, the last time I saw him make a drink, and I saw him make many drinks in my life, the last time was the best time. He made a screwdriver, and to see him holding a bottle of orange juice was just amazing. Because I'm used to him pouring brown liquid into a glass and calling it lunch, breakfast, dinner, fun. And to see him, I said, Lemmy, you're holding orange juice. Is everything okay? That has vitamins in it. And I actually made him laugh. He goes, I know. I'm trying to get healthy. I said, that's the ticket. You'll be ready for the Olympics by spring. To the Olympics.